We got Dan Casey, come on down.
Hi everybody, my name is Dan Casey. I'm a candidate for Circuit Court Judge in Group 43. After graduating from law school at Georgetown, where I graduated with honors, I knew I wanted to be a trial lawyer. And so I looked for a trial job, and boy did I find one. I was hired by Janet Reno in 1981 to start at the Dade County State Attorney's Office. First month after I started with the office, I was promoted to felonies. My first week in felonies, I tried 3 armed robbery cases, and it never stopped. I got tremendous trial experience during my time at the State Attorney's Office. For the last 30 years, I've been a lawyer in civil practice, working for the law firm of K&L Gates, or one of its other names. It's a firm that, and I've been a trial lawyer, literally trying cases across the country. I've tried large cases, middle-sized cases, some of the largest cases, in courtrooms across America. I also, for 18 years, I sat on our firm's management committee, and I helped grow the firm into a global $20 billion law firm. For the last 30 years, Christy and I lived in Hollywood, where we raised our 3 great kids and got deeply involved in the community. I've sat on the boards and committees of over a dozen local nonprofits, and in fact, for 2 years served as the national chair of the YMCA. I have received the endorsement of every group that has issued an endorsement in my race. And I think they realize what I hope that I realized, is that I want to take all of my life experience and all of my legal experience and work really hard with your support to become an exemplary state judge. Thank you so much.
Great. And now we come on with Karen Bergow. Come on down. Sure, come on down.
I like that music. It keeps us awake, right? All right. Thank you all for staying and sticking around. It's kind of late, I know. My name is Karen Berger, and I'm a candidate for Broward County Circuit Court Judge in Group 43. So I know you've heard from a lot of candidates this evening, and I would just like to say that every candidate that you've heard from and you will hear from, obviously they're well educated, they're experienced, and obviously well qualified. Otherwise, none of us would be here, right? So instead of telling you about my resume, listing my diverse litigation background, I would rather tell you why I'm running for judge. Simply put, I'm running for judge because I have been inspired by so many women throughout this country who have and are running for office and trying to instill a positive change in their communities. One of those amazing women is actually right here in Broward County. Rhoda May Kerr was just recently sworn in as Fort Lauderdale's first ever female fire chief, right? It's quite an accomplishment, absolutely, round of applause. But despite those accomplishments that so many women have been making, I can tell you that as a female litigator who handles hearings and trials throughout the state of Florida, I can tell you that the legal community, and even more so our judiciary throughout Florida, is not a clear and equal representation of our community. And if elected, I hope to balance a little small portion of that inequity. And in fact, my opponent actually agreed with me at another judicial forum similar to this. He even stated that he believes the underrepresentation of women and minorities on the bench is a real problem, and that, in fact, there need to be more women as judges, and I agree. So please remember Karen Berger come August 28th or early for Group 43. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't see my slide, is it okay? Everyone can remember Berger, right?
You guys have been running now for quite a while, and you've seen how large this community is, how diverse this community is, how many different people, how many different groups. What I want to know is, Dan, you're an extremely successful trial lawyer, extremely successful in building your firm, and yet you've taken this time to go out about the community. What I want to know is, what did you have wrong? What have you learned from the people that you didn't know before you started this journey?
Thanks, Howard.
I think you just got it.
Thanks, Howard. Howard mentioned that that we have to campaign for this. We've been campaigning for a long time, and I certainly have. I've been out on the campaign trail for the last 15 months. I started trying to meet people throughout the county before I filed, and since I filed, Chrissy and I have been to every nick and cranny of Broward and met every kind of person. And the thing that I've learned the most is, after 36 years of living in the courtrooms, literally across America, and of 30 years of being deeply involved in the community, I thought I knew courtrooms really well. I thought I knew our system of justice really well. And I thought I knew my community really well. But it's amazing because as I get out and talk to the folks, I learn 2 or 3 new things every day that will make me a great judge. I believe that it's important for judges to listen, judges to be a part of the community, judges to understand their community, judges to relate to their community. And this last 15 months have been absolutely phenomenal in getting to know people. What I would do is I'd go out and meet people on the street or meet them for a private meeting, and I'd first spend some time introducing myself. But then I would get to turn the situation on them, and I would say, well, what do you look for in a judge? And they'll tell me it. And then I'll plumb a little bit deeper. And then my last question is always, I know, but if I get elected, could you do me a favor? Please give me one piece of advice. And they'll give me their advice. And I'll say, I know, but why? And they'll give me their why. And then I'll say, I know, but why? And that's when the gold comes out. It has been a fabulous opportunity for me to learn more. Thank you.
Karen, same question.
Thank you, and thank you for calling me a very experienced trial attorney. I appreciate that. But I think that in my experience thus far in this whole process has been really amazing. I do have to say that I do work a lot. I work 60-hour weeks at my job, and I currently am still doing that on the campaign trail. So making time for the campaign has been very important, and most importantly, to meet people all across our community that I necessarily would not have the opportunity to meet. So I do believe that I've had a great experience in not only meeting those people, but hopefully will continue to do so. And I think that it goes beyond the campaign. It's absolutely beyond the campaign. It's not only meeting people now, it's meeting people in the future in our community, and also what people need and what those people are saying to you and what they're looking for in a judge. And unfortunately, I don't think Mr. Casey mentioned when he asked someone what they are looking for in a judge, what that is. And I've been told, look, I think that the system is unfair. And I've been told this over and over, that people believe the system is unfair, and what can you do as a judge? And as a judge, I absolutely can ensure that I would be fair, impartial, and make sure that every person that walks into my courtroom not only understands what's going on, but they feel like they've been treated fairly and impartially.
Again, for both of you, your practices have been mostly outside the criminal realm. But what primarily is probably the greatest fuel to the criminal justice fire that takes place in that courthouse is mental illness. The #1 provider of mental health services is the Broward County Jail. It seems as though we have no place for people who are mentally ill. If you guys are elected to judge, what are you gonna do about it?
All right, just let me correct one misstatement or mistake or unintentional. I actually have significant criminal experience. Remember, I came out of law school and I worked at the Dade County State Attorney's Office 1981 to 1986. That was about 5 years in chronological time, but trust me, those were dog years if you remember Miami back in those days. I got tremendous experience. And then for 9 years after that, I supervised the Nova Southeastern University Law School Criminal Justice Clinic in the Dade County courts for 9 years. Hundreds of students that I supervised and stayed contacted with the criminal system. And Howard, I completely agree with you. I think that our approaches to mental health, our approaches to substance issues, our approaches, quite frankly, to rehabilitation have changed over the years. Back when I was a prosecutor, when you gave a sentencing speech, you looked at the 4 different reasons for sentencing: general deterrence, specific deterrence, retribution, and rehabilitation. Well, over the last 30 years, since I was prosecuting, the whole concept of rehabilitation in all of its types has seemed to vanish from our systems for a lot of reasons. Some of them budgetary, some of them political, none of them good. And I believe that if in fact we want to continue to have In fact, we want to continue to have proliferation factories. We can continue doing what we're doing. If we don't, and trust me, I know that we don't, then we need to change the system. One of the reasons I want to try and become a judge, step down from a law firm, become a judge, is that I want to be able to work from within to try and affect change in all of its areas, including the one you mentioned.
Thank you very much.
Let's see if it works this time. I guess it is.
Very
So absolutely, again, I also agree, and I agree with you, Mr. Finkelstein, as well as my opponent. I do agree that mental health has become a very serious issue, and we definitely see it, but we don't just see it in the criminal system. We do see it across the board, and that is something that we need to keep in mind, that in the circuit court, we have so many different areas that are dealt with in the circuit court. We have probate, we have all the family dependency issues, and mental health is absolutely an issue that you see in every single one of those areas of law. And I think as a judge, you absolutely need to recognize that there need to be additional programs, but again, outside the criminal context, I think that there need to be additional mental health programs, and especially drug dependency programs that hopefully, again, with regards to budgetary issues, we can absolutely address. I see it, unfortunately. I currently live in Pompano Beach, and it's a real issue. We have a current issue right now where there are a lot of homes that are turning into sober homes, and I know there was an issue in Delray Beach and now in Pompano. And the problem is that sober homes are great until someone's no longer sober. And then where do they go? They go out on the streets. So there's absolutely a connection there then with not only mental health, but homelessness. And then both those issues absolutely have to be dealt with from the source, so that hopefully people don't become part of the system and then keep becoming part of the system. Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
Okay, thank you. Last group, here we go, folks.